You guys ever heard of Roald Dahl? Hmm? Well, apparently Roald Dahl was a famous author that wrote some of the most iconic books that you guys will be able to see. Like, for example, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, the BFG, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I might actually do a review on that. So, apparently, James and the Giant Peach was directed by a man that is famous for his stop motion, Henry Selick. Now, this is not Tim Burton. This is Henry Selick. He is different. These guys are not the same. They do different movies. Tim Burton does Beetlejuice. Henry Selick does Coraline and The Nightmare Before Christmas. So you get what I'm saying? Or, you know what? Never mind. I'll just get to the point. So James and the Giant Peach was based on the book James and the Giant Peach by the famous Roald Dahl. Or as a lot of people may call it. They say it's got a lot of strange moral messages. And actually, this movie is depressing. But I've got to say, it is a fun movie and hilarious watch, to be honest. And apparently, it's pretty sad, too, to see a boy actually getting abused by two actual terrible people. I gotta say, they're pretty terrible people. The movie starts out with James, and it's his birthday, and his parents give him a flyer that goes to New York. But then a rhinoceros, yes, there's a rhinoceros, or rhino. In the book, it's a runaway rhino from a zoo, and apparently it claimed gobbled up his parents. I guess that's just a kid's version to say that his parents were killed by a rhino. So then after that, he was forced to live with his aunt Spiker and Sponge. Sponge and Aunt Spiker. Sounds like British names, and weird ass names too. Possibly. So apparently, their aunts make them do everything around the house. They're also greedy, one, because they brag about their faces, saying, "Oh, look how beautiful I am. Don't die, Spiker. Yeah, but you look stupid. You look like queso." Please don't attack me. So then after that, James decides to talk to a spider that he sees. And he's like, yo, this is the first time I actually met a friend. He treats the spider like a good person. It's like, hey, spider, if I saw a spider from James and the Giant Peach, I would probably be friends with it because, I'm living with the ants. So then after that, Sponge sees the spider and he just puts the spider away because James is a good person. And then he sees a man. He's like, oh no, don't be frightened, James. I'm just here to sell you drugs. I'm a drug dealer. Yeah, apparently he's trying to give him drugs. I don't know why, but this guy is probably an international drug dealer. So then he gives him crocodile tongues, which some people are saying that he's hallucinating on heavy drugs, actually. And apparently there are some references to alcoholism and stuff like that. So then he drops the crocodile tongues into the dirt, and on a tree is a peach. Look at that peach. It looks like the emoji, but it's not. So then it's like, oh my God, there's a peach. I'm going to start, whoa, why is it growing big? So the peach grows this big, and then it's called the 8th wonder of the world. Man, so much for King Kong being the 8th wonder of the world. That's not how you do that. So then after that, his aunts told him not to touch the peach and clean up everyone's mess because he's basically safe. They told him not to touch the peach, but then he eats the peach, and one of the crocodile tongues get in there, and he starts hallucinating, and then he sees a hole, and he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna go inside this hole. So he goes in the hole. Yes, I know what you guys think. Then he meets a bunch of bugs, a centipede, grasshopper, earthworm, glowworm, a ladybug, and the spider that he met, which is actually French. Cool, I guess. The grasshopper is a vegetarian, and centipede is like one of those guys from the 1920s, like he's basically like a hood guy version of New York. So then after that, apparently they want to escape his ants. How? Well, thanks to the centipede chopping on the wood, they escape with a fence. And then they go out to the sea and they look at a map that points to New York. There is a giant robot spider that shoots out some of the fish heads that his ants try to force him to feed. I'm telling you, these people are terrible people. Terrible, terrible people. And then James came up with the idea on trying to get the birds close to the peach. So they bring out the spider's web. They pull them down, and then the shark gets caught in his own harpoon, and they praise James, even though he wasn't met with praise. He was met with shit talking from his aunts, because, you know, his aunts being terrible people and all that. So then they go up to the sky, and then the spider talks with James because it's the first friend he's ever made. And then the funniest, weirdest scene happens. James is a little caterpillar eating a peach, and then his creepy ass aunts is like, look, this little maggot scrubbing his face with that peach. Get him, sponge. And then he's moving like a caterpillar. It's like the hungry caterpillar, if you guys ever heard of that. They spray the gas, which is the rhinoceros. You see, the rhinoceros is basically this thick cloud of storms, not the nothing or anything. It's just this looming presence that goes inside of James's mind. And James is trying to cope with the death of his parents. Yes, this story is actually about grief and how it can actually destroy you mentally. I think there's another movie that explains about grief, but that's a video for another day. So then they go into the Arctic and they blame the centipede, which, by the way, the centipede is actually my favorite character. And then Grasshopper says the lie. That is the funniest one in the entire one. Yes, he said he's committed pesticide. Now, when I heard that line, I actually laughed my ass off because, one, it's rhyming version of, you know, stuff. So then the spider and James go back to save the centipede, which tries to take a compass from a skeleton that looks like Jack Skellington. Foreshadowing. This was actually made a year after The Nightmare Before Christmas. And then he gets captured by the skeletons. They all have a big fight. Then the centipede is like, uh-oh, he is almost dead. Nope. He comes out as a hero. And then the centipede and the spider have a little awkward romance. Not awkward romance. No. Man, I guess species just sometimes are different. Maybe they're like transgender or like LGBT stuff of animals. Things are good. So then they go up and then they see New York. And also, I forgot one fact. They can actually just eat the hell out of the peach if they're feeling hungry. There's actually an entire song. I forgot that there's a musical, and boy, does the music slap. I like the peach song. The peach song is actually really good. It's like a version of sort of like this. What's this? What's this? Discovered everyone. You get what I'm saying. So then they see New York, and then it looks like the rhino comes out of nowhere, and this is where we meet the biggest character development for James, because he's now saying, "Yo, Rhino, I'm not afraid of you anymore. Fuck you. I'm not afraid of you. I don't care about you anymore. I've moved on." So then he falls to the sky, and then the crocodile tongue comes out of his mouth, and then he finds out that the peach landing on top of the Empire State Building. Yes, and one thing that is really funny is that his aunts drove a car literally through the ocean to get to New York. I don't understand how that car didn't even break down. Also, one fact, if this was in real life and I crawled inside of a peach and I see bugs in there, I'd vomit. Because there's actual bugs living inside a giant-ass real peach that is about to go rotten. So then his aunts come out trying to manipulate some people by saying, "Oh, we're nice people, we're not mean people." And then James starts to speak, "Yo, my friends are bugs. These people are terrible people." So then the aunts grab an axe. They're trying to kill Tim. What the hell is this? And then his friends come out and it's like, "Yo," they get dunked on like a lot, and then they just get tied and just get taken away. So then after that, things are good. He lets the kids eat the peach and turns it into a home. How? No logical sense. Well, they eat it down to the core. So that was James and the Giant Peach. Let me say, it is a fun movie, okay? It is a fun movie. It is a sad movie, to be honest. But to be honest, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.